Hello, Paula. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. Thank you for having me. Excited.
Oh, thank you for coming. It really means a lot because it's after work you have to come here. No, but excited to have you.
Yeah, I still remember the day when we talked about things we would like to do, and you mentioned podcast. What was it, like 1 year ago?
1 year ago, yeah.
1 year ago, and we're like, yeah, you should do it. But it's like what everyone says, right? It's like, oh my
Yes.
god, I want to do podcast. You wanted to do like stand up comedy.
Yeah, I wanted. I
Okay,
still wants to,
it's
but it's
still on your list, but but you actually made it happen. Like you actually, when you told me like, okay, I'm doing podcasts, like you're gonna be like, okay, let's do this, and then you're actually doing this after work. So like, yeah,
yes. So I wanted to do it for like more than 1 year, but it's exactly like you said. I never thought something like I would take the initiative and do, but it was always on top of my mind. It would be interesting something to do. I like this platform of podcast. I listen to it a lot, and recently, like I got a push. So it was someone started a podcast, let's say someone from my place, because there is not a lot of podcast in Kerala where I come from. I mean,
okay.
now there is, of course, but so how I saw I would do the podcast, the things I would talk about, and the guests I would have on. So let's say someone started similar thing. So it's good for them. I really admire they did take the initiative. So it was a huge push for me. Said, oh my god, I wanted to start something like this, and I was telling people for 1 year now, and I only talk, no do. So I thought, okay, fuck it, like I will go all in and do it. And I think so far, yes. Still, we are doing today, I think, technically fourth time, but still it's not on air. So let's fingers crossed how it will be.
Hopefully, we're gonna have this time really good footage. It's gonna be
Yes.
a really good episode. So yeah, for sure. Like we have so many like interesting things to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, but the way, what about you just said? I think it's like the thing about it is like when you told me that you're doing this, I was like, hey, I want to do it too. Like it sounds so interesting. I think that's how it works. Like you just get inspired.
Yes.
Someone from your close circle is gonna be like, oh, I'm doing this thing. Like that was always on my list. I'm finally gonna make it happen. And you were like, gosh, like why I can be the same person. I can also like make it happen, right? And when you told me like I was like, this is actually about podcast, a great thing that you started with friends, obviously, right?
Yes.
But then you're getting out of your comfort zone and you're like, okay, I'm gonna reach out to this person, right? Like I'm gonna send this like message, like you heard all the stories about those people who now have big podcasts, how they started, right?
Yes.
I was like, I'm just gonna do it. This is my idol. I'm gonna send this message.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just make it like very interesting, right?
Yes. Yes.
And you never know. And then for some of them, they were lucky and they agreed, and it just went viral. And that's how it all started. So, like, you never know. One day, your favorite Joey Rogan's going to be your guest on
I
your
hope so. I
podcast. So,
hope so.
yeah,
It's big dream, but I hope so. Yeah.
we got to dream big, I
Yes,
think.
of
Yeah.
course. But I still have like people on my mind, on my list. Maybe they are not super famous, but people I find very interesting. And
I
some
think
of
it's
them,
step
like I
by step.
mentioned to
Yeah.
you, like Marjana, she's a Polish woman who do it's not charity, it's
Volunteering.
volunteering kind of and videography in Africa, and she shoots child labor. She did episodes on child labor.
That's
So
very interesting.
yeah,
It's
so
something that deserves more, like, I would say, spotlight. I would say
mm-hmm.
like those people who actually it's so admirable that they actually spend their life to do. It's actually really dangerous as well, right?
Yeah, exactly,
Nowadays,
exactly.
and they want to do something. They're contributing to something bigger and more important.
And
So
some people from back in Kerala, like some particular people I find very interesting, and I would like to talk to. So it's all about people who I want to talk to. I find their life admiring and interesting
mm,
and all. So yes, maybe you can give the listeners a background, like
background. I always love that introduction, right?
yeah.
So something maybe interesting about me, like I was born in Greece,
Mhm.
but my parents are Polish. So I was born in Athens, and my it was interesting actually admiring my parents because it was like late 80s, 90s. I would say late 80s when they would travel all the way to Greece. Like back then in the late 80s in Poland, like there was imagine no internet, nothing. I was like, always thinking like, wow, like guys, you are amazing.
Yeah,
And
it's
they
so
just traveled and they
interesting.
didn't know each other, so they met in Greece.
Okay.
So they know
So
it's not like they would travel together. They met in so two Polish met in Greece, and the
absolutely.
thing actually I think learned me is always they would always remind me wherever you are, if you move somewhere, just learn the language. So they would speak fluently Greek. That's why I think the friends were all Greeks, and they kind of I think the way I was raised also is just to become more open-minded, travel the world. So I'm very thankful to them for the upbringing, how they raised me. And we spent 7 years over there, and then we moved back to Poland. I think it's just my mom kind of wanted a change, and it's Greece was back then the situation was really good, but I guess was getting a bit worse. So maybe they just wanted to give it a try in Poland with my
Mm-hmm.
family. And yeah, and I was raised in Poland, went to school. And then when I was 12, I started training archery at the
Yes.
beginning for fun.
Yes.
And then kind of,
Maybe I can interrupt you there. Like,
yeah.
I want to ask
Okay,
about
okay.
archery.
Yeah.
Like, how do someone get interested in archery? Not only archery, because when you think about
Sport.
football,
Yeah.
like there are ways you play with your
Yeah.
friends, you do this and that, and even let's say running.
Yeah.
You have small competition school, you get interested in it, or any kind of team sports. But swimming, you have chances. But archery, or I don't know, a few days ago you shared something with me like figure skating, this particular things. How do you get interested in it?
I think you just try different things. I my dad was a swimmer. So, of course, when I was in Greece, like every kid knows how to swim. So I was swimming, but it was never actually, I didn't click. I feel like you have to feel it that you want to pursue it like professionally, right? So, with archery, how it started, which was very random. And I think that's how everything starts in your life. It's like super random, out of the blue,
Yeah.
spontaneous. My mom asked me if I want to go to school, which is a private for athletes only because I was also full of energy.
Yeah.
So she was
You
like,
still are.
you can be a student and also like maybe try different things when you are younger. And I was like, okay, let's do this. And I remember that this particular school was like very associated, like strongly connected to a archery club, which turned out to be the best in the country. So they were like, oh, you want to try archery? It's such a weird, I mean, not weird, but like very unconventional, not so popular.
Yeah,
Oh, everyone
exactly.
asked me about Robin Hood. Are you shooting somewhere? I was like, no. Like, Robin Hood question was always the one I got. And I just remember I went the first day I went there. I started, someone would like show me how to do it. And my mom would, I was 12 years old, and my mom would come to the archery field, to the club, and to pick me up.
Yeah.
And I was like, Mom, can you wait? Like, I didn't want to go. Like, I just liked it so much.
Okay.
And and maybe remember it was like it was a long time ago, but I still remember that day that I liked it so much that I asked my mom, "Oh, can you please wait like one more hour?" And then even my coach came, and it was just first day. He was like, "Oh, you're this girl who doesn't want to leave." Like it was so surprising, right? So I
Yes.
guess you just whenever I tried so many I'm very athletic, so I tried so many different sports, but I guess there was something about archery that kind of like
Clicked.
they clicked, yeah, which is funny because then I had we had lots of psychological tests, and years after my like that person, that specialist, told me like, that your personality matches the kind of like archery skills
Mhm.
20%. But you were
Okay.
able to achieve so much. So imagine if you would find this like discipline, the sport when you would have like 80.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, why did I find it out like like years after, right?
Yes.
But I guess that's like how you play football. You love it, but are you gonna pursue it professionally?
Yeah, exactly. I think for some
Yeah.
people it clicks. And like you said, this psychological or natural skills.
Natural. I
Yeah.
think it's just something that you cannot plan. You can like you hear stories about like famous athletes that parents they were like, okay, you're gonna play tennis because we all know that if you play tennis well, you can be financially stable very fast, even though you're not gonna win Wimbledon. We're even
Yeah.
talking about just playing random tournaments, right?
Yes.
But then you're gonna be average because you're not gonna be the best, but you're gonna be just good enough to make money, right? But
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna be something you can achieve like greatness. I would say like we're talking about Michael Phelps, Cristiano Ronaldo, and all those like incredible athletes, right? I think they just found their niche, right?
Yes, and there's also always this comparison between Messi and Ronaldo, and where Messi is considered the natural and Cristiano is where he is because of hard work and dedication.
Yes, and
Yeah.
as someone who actually studied like in sport department and everything, we had this discussion many times. And actually, that is true what you said. Like even our professors, I had football in college, right? So and actually, my professor was really good. He was actually friend with like national team, like Polish national team coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So I got lots of insight, which I cannot share. But
You still have
what
contact with them by any chance?
no, no, but I mean, just like studying in like college where you have professor which were also like were used to be coaches,
Okay.
but I have so many
I
stories
ask
like
for networking, if I can get Lewandowski in the
I.
pod.
I don't think I can get that far as like getting you Lewandowski, but maybe we can get someone who's like know the sport and the insights. It's like funny because I would go like for example, I had some exam, but I was like competing, and I would go to my professor like, oh, I wasn't here. Like, can I just like I had some tests, and I remember I was with my friend, 45 minutes in a room because he was on a phone, because he knew all the national coaches of the handball. And
Okay.
when I was
And
sitting with
handball?
my friend handball, and it was like after World Championships, because Polish team used to be really good.
Yes, I know.
So that was the time in Qatar. They won bronze medal, and I was sitting there in that room, and my professor was like talking with someone from the Polish association, and I got all the insights about injuries, what happened inside the team. I was looking at my colleague. I was like, 45 minutes. I was like, I don't think it should be like that. But that was like so interesting, like the whole experience. But yeah, and when it comes to like this Cristiano and Messi comparisons,
Mm-hmm.
it's like something that my coaches would tell me that I was also natural, but at the same time, someone who's very persistent
Mm-hmm.
and dedicated like Cristiano, he can make it up by just working really, really hard,
Like
right?
going all in, I think.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
like
still he's going all in. Like people were laughing at him for going to Saudi, which of course is a financial decision and to stay away from the media because media always haunted him. Starting from England, in Spain, wherever he went. But still he's going strong, like what, 38, 39, and last week he scored 6 goals in 2 games. So two back-to-back hat tricks. So of course it's not that competitive competition as La Liga or Premier League, but still
mm,
something admirable.
I really hate when people are like leaving comments on a post like from Cristiano like in general about him like, oh, you should retire. I was like, it's up to him when he will decide to retire, whether he's gonna be playing very average. Like, why should he? I mean, he's been the best. Obviously, he's natural. He's aging. He's gonna
Yeah.
be slower. He's not gonna be like as strong as fast. He's not gonna be able maybe to run for like 90 minutes like
Yes.
10 years ago. But like why would you decide on someone's career? It was the same about every single alpha. They deserve to decide where they want to live. Maybe he's waiting for that moment to
As an
live.
athlete, is it something offensive? Like, for example, you are an active athlete,
It's
let's say.
annoying, I would say, and I think every single athlete is just laughing at it because we just get used to it. I mean, I wasn't like a maybe like Lewandowski, like he wasn't
Yeah.
affected. No one told me like, oh, you should just like leave it. But from like an athlete perspective, how I would feel personally, I would probably, I mean, maybe if you hear it for many years and maybe because you're not even old, but you just have a worse time, it happens, right? You cannot win and be the best all the time. You might
Mm-hmm.
have injury. You might just like feel like burned out, right?
Yes.
And then just they're gonna hear like, oh, you should just quit, and then they're gonna be play again at the best, and the people are gonna praise them. It's always like that. That's why they have to be mentally very strong.
Yeah, it's interesting. But there's also this, it's not a saying, it's actually from Batman. You either die a hero or live long enough to become villain.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think Lewandowski can be like that for Poland.
Oh yeah, he's carrying a lot on his shoulder, right? Because he's
Of
like
course,
one of
of
the
course.
best, and he's always gonna be criticized. And Messi, he's like, I don't know why, but there's something about him that people just love him. They would criticize him, but not as much as other athletes. I am not into football as much as you, but that's what I noticed. He's like the
No,
golden
it's
boy, the
true. Yeah,
prodigy,
it's true.
the like beloved player that even though he would not play well, it's gonna be still Messi, you know?
Yeah, I mean, of course, no arguments. He's one of the best player or even best athlete that ever lived. But there was bias in media. There still is. Where is Messi now? Do you know?
He's in Miami.
Yes, but no one tracks his game. No one watches.
I mean, honestly, it's. I mean, that's a bit deeper because you really need to know the kind of like the story about it. It's about Beckham trying to popularize the football before the World Cup. I mean, kind of it's marketing and business.
Yeah, of course.
You know how much they sell right now? Like the merch is sold out.
They became, if I'm not wrong, $1 billion. Can you check it? $1 billion club.
Oh, $1 billion club! Wow.
Yes, I think the first in US because their
um.
football, sorry, soccer
Oh
is
my
not that
God,
popular.
he said it. Oh my God, we need to like put this B. Can you please edit that way? It really
For
is.
soccer?
So, you just said it again.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah,
We're gonna hear it
edit.
more often. Is it like next year, the World Cup?
Yeah,
26.
1 billion double than last year.
Yes.
Last year. And that
Double.
was like beginning, right?
Yeah, and it's not a good. They are not even in a good position. I mean, in the league, they are
Yeah.
still below. They lose game. So only because of Messi. But yeah, I think both Cristiano and Messi is a business decision.
Yeah, I mean, Neymar joined like, I mean, Neymar
Saudi.
is a different league. I mean, but
Yeah.
like he also joined Saudi, and I think now he's injured.
I
Like
think
he's also
Neymar is the best example. You can compare him with Cristiano and Messi, but with less dedication. I think Neymar is the perfect. You can put Neymar in that category. He has the potential to become
the
as
so-called
good,
bad boy.
as good. Maybe not as good, but very good
I mean, he was.
player.
I mean,
But
they paid lots of money for a reason. Otherwise, he would end up in Barcelona and PSG. I'm not a huge fan of football, like I said. I feel like it's
I know.
overpaid. I feel like there's so many wonderful sports, and I'm not saying that football shouldn't be paid, but should be. I think other sports deserve like funds. And I remember my friend, she hates football players for a reason. Why? Because when we're both archers, we would win European championships, world championships. We would go to some, like award ceremonies, like around our like area when we live. And I remember she told me like, I won bronze medal at the European Championships. Bronze fucking medal. And then I got the football player from fifth league getting a scholarship. And it's like,
unfair.
for what? And they play crappy because if they were playing like good football, that's wonderful. But look at the level they represent right now. And they paid so well. I know they also like the marketing is also
Yeah, it's
involved,
biggest game in the world.
popularity and everything. But it's really sad to go all the other like beautiful disciplines go down. They get less and less support from the government. But football is just thriving, you know?
Yeah, and people go crazy for it. Like I remember when it was the last World Cup, I shared few photos from my state, Kerala.
Yes,
And
I couldn't believe it.
yes, people go crazy over it. I haven't even seen that much craze in Europe. Since being here, I was very surprised because when I was watching World Cup matches here, of course there was people, the pubs were full, but people from Kerala and maybe India, but mostly I know my knowledge, my experience is from Kerala, so I will speak for Kerala. Is people love football, people will die for football, people are so crazy for football.
But how interesting it is, like you don't have a national team representing like in like World Cup like anywhere, but you're still so hype about that. There's so much
Maybe
hype.
that's the reason.
Maybe, and you
Yes.
don't like fight, you don't get disappointed. You just kind of like have love and passion, and just like kind of enjoy the time when you can support like your favorite athlete or your favorite team.
Yeah.
Whether in Poland or in the kind of country that like always like expectations, and then there's disappointment.
Yeah, so for sure, not everyone will be disappointed because I don't know if you remember last time I sent you this photo of Messi and the Neymar big cutouts of Messi, Neymar, Ronaldo.
I couldn't
So
believe it. I was like, is it real? I was
it's only one
curious.
place and it's all over the
And it's always like that.
place.
Every single time there's like
And
some
also
like
football fans in Kerala or in India or in Asia are, I would say, very dedicated because we have to. I remember waking up at 2 a.m. to watch because the time zone doesn't match.
Wow, that's called dedication.
Yes.
But you know, I must say one thing: you might not be a huge football fan. You might not even follow what's happening. But when there's Euro Cup
Mm-hmm.
and World Cup, I feel like you just want to be part of this like celebration
Oh yeah.
slash
Copa America
atmosphere.
too.
I don't follow Copa America, but when I was in the state, there was World Cup, and even though Poland was playing really crappy, and but then I would go with my friends, and they're like people from all over the world. I would go with friends who are Brazilian and Mexican. So imagine Brazilian Mexican cheer up for the team. Like you just go to this pub, and there's so many people from like like United States, like people from all over the world, right? So I would have like Germans on one side with like Swiss guys, and then I had like Brazilians and Mexicans, like
Yeah.
kinda, and then it was like this kind of incredible atmosphere. And
Yeah,
even my friends would be like, Paula, we need to go every day. I was like, okay. And I was like, okay, I get it right now. Like,
Yeah, it's
I
very
get it.
interesting. Like here there is one English pub, so they play Premier League. It's near Kazimierz, and there you can see a lot of English people for to come to watch the game and getting drunk, and you know how they are after they're drunk.
Yeah, we all know that. We
Yes.
all heard even the stories, we saw that, yeah. But yeah, there's something about it that like even though my team is not playing, but I'm around people who are like cheering up and kind of celebrating. And I was like, okay, I like it.
Yeah, in many ways, football bring people together too. Because I'm not only talking about, I think sports in general can
Hmm.
bring people together, but the scale of football, billions of people watching it at the same
How
time.
come it became so popular? I just
I
don't
have
get
no
it.
idea.
Is it? Oh, I think it's because it's easy. Like you don't really need like
No, no, no,
some
no. Don't say
sports
it's
need
easy.
swimming, but not in a way. What I want to say it's like you just need like what do you need? Like a field, even grass, like
Ah,
some
yeah.
and a
Okay.
ball. And I think that's you don't need money. You don't need a lot. You just kind of like you're just gonna play with your friends, right? And imagine like a swimmer. You need to pay. You need like kind of like it requires more like a financial kind of like support to do like swimming, not to mention tennis. What about skiing? You have to like all the trips abroad, right? It's expensive. I mean, even in archery, our bow, like a professional equipment, is like around 10,000 zloty. It's
Ah,
really
okay. Okay, I
expensive.
understand.
You don't start with like the very expensive one, but when you get more and more professional, it requires also like money, right? But with a football, like I mean, love it, hate it. It's for like those kids from like like what are the stories from like kids from Brazil
South
or
America.
even Cristiano Ronaldo? He came from like a very like he has a poor background,
Yes,
right?
very poor.
And it's I actually have lots of admiration for self-made people, like
Yeah,
from nothing to everything. And
yeah,
it's I think
true.
they have like double motivation. And even Messi, he was scouted, but he actually comes from a like maybe not very poor, but like a
But
low
middle class
class.
family.
Yeah,
Also, Messi had health issues, I think.
really.
Yeah, Messi had some, I think even some kind of autism, if I'm not wrong.
Oh,
Yeah, he had health issues even when he joined for Barcelona. Um, yeah, it's interesting. And I think football is a great game. Hope it doesn't lose its glory. Because recently there was talk about introducing blue card. So
what's
there will be
that?
red card, yellow card, blue card. I'm still not sure. I haven't
What is
read.
blue card about?
So it's like
Fact check. Blue
what
card.
is blue card? Yeah,
Fact
but
checker.
I think FIFA rejected it.
But what? But like, what was it? Like the red, it's like like it's
So I think what it was. Okay, I will not speak as
yellow is warning,
yellow is
red is
warning, red is get the
addiction.
fuck out of here. Okay, we are back after this short technical
Technical
issue.
break.
Yes. So where were we? USA. So the
USA.
process you went to USA, I think it will be interesting for because even when you told me, I didn't know like such
Yeah, I
there is
didn't know.
scholarship that you can have on.
Kinda, yeah. So basically, when after graduation, I kind of like had options to like work, and but also wasn't sure about my future if I really if that's what I wanted to always do. It's that what I actually want to do after graduation. I think it's something that everyone goes through after graduation.
Okay.
And I remember scrolling. The only good thing about Instagram, I was scrolling like my Instagram,
So
and
how
I
long ago was it?
was 2017.
Okay.
Yeah,
So 2 years before the pandemic. Okay.
exactly. Because I came back actually right before pandemic, so let's say like 2 years before like yeah this horrible shit show. Nevertheless, my friend posted a picture that with like a luggage and a badge like on my way to the USA. I was like, oh, what are you doing? And we actually met because we took English classes in a really cool school in Krakow.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually met lots of great people like when I took my English classes. So
Okay.
there must be something about it. Nevertheless, I was like, are you like, where are you going? She's like, I'm just like, took part in this program, which is like au pair, but it's like official. It's like
Okay.
institution kind of, and it's like how it
Is it
works.
something kind of like Erasmus, or it's different?
A little bit different because Erasmus is like through college, and you kind of should take classes, but like it's like usually like half a year, 1 year, but au pair can be even 2 years
Okay.
max,
Okay.
and the limit is 26 years old, right? And I was like, wow, and like when she told me that, I was, and she kind of like told me about like how like the whole process. And I was like, maybe I should give it a shot. Like, if not now, then when? Like, if right now I'm just thinking about the job and everything, it's the perfect time after graduation, right? And I just like randomly applied. Someone like reached out to me and told me like, okay, do it. And they were really rushing me, maybe because it was already September.
Okay.
And then you should put a video. So like you met with you try to find a family, right? And the whole point of it is like you kind of like help them with their kids, right? It's not like a nanny. Everyone like thinks it's not a nanny. It's more like big sister kind of thing. Like you
Okay.
help
Like
them out.
foster
Yeah,
family
but
kind
it's
of.
more like experience because you should. It's not like you work. You have a scholarship, right?
Uh-huh.
But then it's more like you kind of have the mom with just like kids. For me, it's like I had like two girls, which kind of became my little sisters right now. They're much older. We see each other, the family. It's like my family, right? I feel like they adopted me, and I met the grandparents and the whole, like the friends, everyone, right? So I was really lucky to find this family, and it was like with Archery. I just had it was the first time, the first like kind of video call I had, and we just clicked right away. And that's how it started. And they were like pushing me, like, you should come, you're perfect. Like, we clicked. But I wasn't sure. I was like, I have a boyfriend, he doesn't know. Like, so I was like, I was like, it was so spontaneous, right? I didn't actually think it will work out. I just wanted to give it a shot. And then I remember to this day, like, I was so nervous, like, how to explain him. I'm going to the States for a year. But yeah, but it worked out. Although we broke out later, but that's okay. Sorry about that. But that's okay. Yeah, and then I decided to go, and I think that was a life changing experience. I think that I wouldn't change anything about those 2 years. Those were the best 2 years of my life. Maybe because I was like, I think every single person in their life should try to live far away. I'm
Yeah.
not like in Europe. You move from Poland to Germany, or like it's way too close.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about completely different continent, country, culture, language, everything. It just stepping out of your comfort zone, and how I made so
Exactly.
many friends, and how because I was a bit shy. Can you imagine? I was a bit shy back
Yeah, I
then,
cannot imagine.
and I had to change because like if I wouldn't try and actually go out and meet people, I was like literally Google searching like meetings like meetups for internationals. I would find couch surfing, I would find like meetups, and like I would like create a profile and people reach out to me, and that's how I met my best friend from China. Actually, my best friend from Boston, she was like, it was the first time for her to come to this meet, so I guess that was like a destiny, I guess.
Okay.
And I came. It was also my first time, I
The one
think.
you met in Greece last.
Claire, she came from yeah.
Yes.
Like we
Okay.
see each other like almost every year, right? And then because I was like trying and going out, I met so many people, and then I met her, and through her I met her friends, and that's how it started. And I
Okay.
ended up having like almost like a family away from like my family, over there. It was like, and then traveling. I would take classes like in different schools, right, to try to find my thing, what I'm interested in. So like that part was amazing. If everyone asked me like, "Oh, you used to live 2 years, would you like to come back and live and work?" I was like, it's just I think after coming back to Europe and the fact that you can work anywhere in Europe without a visa, it's just like a game changer, right?
Yeah.
Whereas in the States, like the visa process, because I hear everything from my friends who try after graduation to like find a job, and then them to sponsor them right over there. So it's really complicated. It's nerve
Even for
wracking.
Europeans, it's complicated.
I think for everyone,
Uh,
maybe I don't know, it should be equality. So it shouldn't
No,
matter whether you are
equality is a myth.
European.
So let's not talk about equality.
Yeah. Mm, yeah, I know. So like technically it shouldn't matter, right? But I guess when you are a student, and depends also because they want talents, right? But from my friends, what they told me, it's like really stressful and it takes so much time. You need attorneys. So it's also like very like kind of expensive, I would say as well. So I was like, I don't know, why would I go through that when I can just live in Europe or like anywhere else? So like what I would say to everyone, if you have opportunity to like have a company, like a really good job, I think it might be a great experience, like a working experience
Yes.
in the
Yeah.
US, yes. But I would say only when you have like a stable job, like a good job, and the company is gonna help you with the visa process, right?
Yeah.
Doing this by yourself is really stressful. So I think for like from Europe to US for like a job would be cool. And just to try because it's so different. The one thing that I love is just there are people from all over the world. So I kind of, how do you feel? You kind of feel free. I don't know. It's like a different
Yeah, it's
feeling.
called land of the free. I wanted to ask you the next question is
Yeah.
it really the land of the free or is it
Um,
just a myth?
I mean, it's just, I think there's a different feeling that I kind of felt like I can, I mean, be myself. It's just, I had friends from China, Indonesia, Pakistan, India, like from everywhere. And the fact that we could communicate and be friends despite so many differences.
Yeah. It's a
And
wonderful thing.
yeah, it's a wonderful thing, and it's possible. And people say like they will have so many conflicts because of that. But we could sit around a table and talk about politics, religion, and even though I'm technically, I mean, Catholic, someone was
Yeah.
like Muslim, someone was like, a completely different religion, but we could discuss it. I think because we are open minded
Yeah.
and we could see or acknowledge like the bad things and the good things
Yes. And
and
it's
talk
very
about it.
important. It's very important and it's very needed to have these open conversations
Yeah.
where you just don't fight. You see, okay, these things are wrong. Maybe this is a bit old.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know, written before 2000 years. So there is a chance
Yeah.
something is wrong. I think it's very important. And you only get this opportunity when you travel. Like you said, not travel when you live outside of the cocoon you are born in.
Yeah.
Like it's very comfortable place. You have your family, you have your
Yes.
friends,
Yes.
but you have to break that comfort zone. I believe you
Yes. I
you will not have a character growth until you break that cocoon and go somewhere, live in a different place. It might be risky, but it's life changing.
It will be difficult. It will be challenging, but I think it's also part of the growth, like the process.
Yes, and you meet different people, and that's very important. You
Yes.
meet different people from different culture, different religion, different parts of the world. I don't know. I think it changed me a lot being here and meeting lots of people through work, through friends, through anywhere.
How is it in Poland? I always ask people because, like, I was born in Greece. I'm Polish because of, my parents, right? But, like, I feel like because I was raised in Greece, born, raised, and then in Poland, and then I traveled a lot because of sports, I don't really associate myself with one place. Like, I don't feel like I have a sense of belonging, either Greece or I love
I
Greece
have
because I'm
a
more
similar
Sophie.
feeling.
You too?
Yes, because I was born in India, brought up in Saudi. For
Oh my
half
God,
of
we're
my life, I was
such a
in
weird
Saudi.
combinations.
Yes, and then I went back to India for 4 or 5 years, and then now I'm in Poland, and I see myself here for I don't know, as long as I see myself. So I don't I feel like that too. Maybe I don't belong in one place, but it's okay, you know.
I mean, what I've learned is like sometimes when you have opportunity, you shouldn't overthink it. Like if I would overthink my idea about the States, or like I had like already like professional like kind of opportunities, probably I would be in a different place right now. And with my boyfriend and everything, like I had everything already planned. Like I really had, like I was before I was the person who was like everything had to go according to my plan. I didn't have much flexibility. When I went to college, I because I was an athlete, so I'm very disciplined, organized. But I think it comes with also disadvantages that I feel like I need to have control. So
Uh-huh.
that my college when I was 21, I was 21 when I decided to like retire because I just didn't see the point of training because I mean archery there wasn't much growth. So for me it's like I either go like big or nothing, because it's a waste of time and waste
Yeah.
of youth, like the best like 20s, your best years, right? I
Yes.
was like, okay, I'm done, because my coach, the approach, the attitude, like it's like there's no way I can go like win like medal at Olympics. So why would I train? Like you need a goal. Like you have to see it, because training and like dedication is like, oh my, it's just so hard. Like people, they don't know
It's
the
underappreciated,
professional.
I think.
Like even you might not, I mean, every athlete, like the dream and the goal, the ultimate goal is like Olympics, right? I mean, for football it's like World Cup, Euro Cup is a little
Yeah.
bit different, but let's say like you have this goal, but I feel like if you realize that like you don't have the opportunities, for example, because you're like, I don't know, it's not professional enough. Like for in archery in Poland, it was just not like, I would say, not professional enough. Like we could do well in junior category,
Mhm.
but once you reach senior, it's getting really serious. Like I feel like you need like infrastructure, financial help, right? Just to compete with the best, right?
What it takes for a person to spend his whole life, let's say, let's take someone who won Olympics bronze medal. I will not go to the gold.